false things feel like shit. What is up, Alien Army? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel, we discuss everything out of this world. Today's topic, we are going to be talking about why false things feel like shit. What do I mean by this? So, this is something that I have heard over and over again in the spiritual community, in the psychic community, in the law of attraction community, whatnot, what have you, yada, 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 same song and dance. But I'm going to talk about it because I done channeled some other stuff and I have a good analogy for you. So, it bears repeating too. It also does. This is something that ain't real. It's going to feel like shit because it's a negative emotion and that contradicts who the motherfucker you really are, which is a soul, a benevolent, energetic being that happens to pilot around a third dimensional vessel. And every time that you stray further from your soul, the more shitty it motherfucking feels. Because the soul's natural energy, that life force energy, knows only bliss, knows only love, knows only divinity, and all is well, all is good here and now, like it should. I'm talking about this because when people are on like the manifestation journey, or they're on like the self-help journey, or they're on the healing journey, and blah, 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 anything that comes up, anything that arises, be it a thought or an emotion, and it feels lousy, that is in contradiction to the natural state of your being, which is divine source consciousness. So when we think about, if you have a hot stove and you put your hand on it and that shit is on fire, what you gonna do? Woo! You gotta move your motherfucking hand. That is the same thing that's comparable to what I'm talking about. So as we're in human suits, the body is also designed to want to repel negative emotions that are going to be detrimental to the body. It wants to repel negative thoughts that are going to be detrimental to one's psyche. So the physical body feels and senses a hot stove. Oh, you want to move your hand away because then that shit gonna burn, that shit gonna get all fucking cray cray, right? If you leave your hand on there, right? So,
oh, well, thank you. I moved my hand and I'm chilling now.
Whereas if you hadn't moved your hand, what was going to happen? But in the realm of the psyche, in the realm of emotions, what do motherfuckers do a lot of the time? They feel, metaphorically speaking, of course, energetically, vibrationally, and thought-wise, hot stove.
Dang, that shit hurts. Let me sit here a little more. Let me sit. Let me go on and jump inside the pot of boiling water.
And before you know it, it's lobster motherfucking city in there. So why do motherfuckers energetically insist on leaving their hand on the hot stove? Anyone? To be honest, it feels normal to them. It feels natural. Even though it feels like shit, to them that's natural. And ain't nothing natural about feeling like shit. So let's say you are trying to manifest something and you have those little voices in your head.
You can never do that. Oh, you have to put in hard work to do that. Or, oh, they would never be interested in you.
Or this or that or the third. That shit ain't real. So whether it was conjured up by your own monkey mind ego projections, or if it was a demon whispering in your ear, I do have a video about the difference betwixt those if you are interested. So that occurs, that little voice creeps in and it starts to give a motherfucker doubts. So they're there trying to manifest their dream home, and the voices in their head are like, oh homie, you can't do that. You'll never get approved for that. That person will never marry you. You'll never land your dream career. All of that comes in and motherfuckers sit there, and that's like the hot stove, and they're sitting there and they're stewing in it. Why? Why? Because it's part of the ego's defense mechanism. The ego wants to keep the sentient being in a little box where everything is controlled, where the ego is controlling everything. So even if it feels nasty, at least the ego knows that it's in control, right? That's why a lot of times, and this is what can trip up motherfuckers, they will be manifesting something and they'll be like doing affirmations, they'll be writing out fucking lines, I am this now, blah blah blah, they'll be affirming it, they'll be doing visualization techniques, but on the inside they're preparing for a fucking failure. They're preparing for it, because on the inside, even though they're trying to project into the future, time doesn't exist, but you know, for just the purpose of this, humor me. So they're trying to project into the future that what they want, but the hot stove beckons. The hot stove, he got a fucking magnet on him, okay? He's a magnetic motherfucking hot stove, and he's like, it's like fire and brimstone, everything over there, and the motherfucker is just magnetized. And they're like, not only is their hand on the hot stove now, not letting go, it's like then they're gonna put their other hand, then they're gonna jump on, and then they're gonna start like fucking humping the motherfucking hot stove, even though it feels like shit, even though their thoughts are running away with them, they're staying there, because the ego, the matrix, is designed in that way to keep you entrenched in whatever story the matrix has going on right now. So that's why your body has this built-in, do I want to say Geiger counter? Yes, I said it. Now what? I don't know if it's correct in this terminology, but there you go. The body has an internal Geiger counter. And the body, because remember, we're talking about thoughts and we're talking about feelings now, right? So it's the hot stove, only it's the thoughts and feelings that are feeling like shit, but yet someone is allowing their feelings and their thoughts to remain there. The body, as a defense mechanism, much like the physical touch, is alerting, saying, listen, hey, hot stove, you need to get yourself away from there. The human body's Geiger counter is wired the same way. That's why these thoughts feel like shit. How can a thought feel like shit? Well, a thought controls the emotion, okay? Whole other topic. I might have a video or two on it, I'm not sure, but we're not going to get into that here. But either which way, the thought controls the emotion. Sometimes the emotion can pull the thoughts into it, but that's only because the thought has somehow seeped its way into the emotions. So when someone is sitting there wallowing in something, oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna have my dream wedding, okay, cool, but the hot stove is beckoning, oh, that person would never be interested in you. And then the ego mind is, because it's a product of the matrix, is like, oh yeah, you know, maybe you're right. And then they jump onto the hot stove. The body energetically knows that it's wrong, it's not right, it can harm the individual, it's leading them astray, further away from who they really are, that benign source of divine consciousness where everything is all at once and everything is blissful. The body is trying to signal you. The body is trying to motherfucking send a signal like, homie, don't play that. Get your ass away from that fucking hot stove. It ain't good for you. But yet, they keep being drawn back there. That's why it feels like shit, because it isn't real. It's a product of the matrix. It's a product of the matrix that is designed to keep someone inside that little bubble. And the body knows this, because the body is always in touch with the soul. You are always in touch with your soul. It's just a matter of how connected you are in the moment. And the more you fucking feel like shit, the less connected you are to your fucking soul. I mean, there's a connection, but it's like threadbare, you know what I'm saying? But it's still there. So why let yourself stay in that state of feeling like shit and mingle with your fucking fears Why stay there? Your body is already alerting you. Your body is saying, listen, that's not the way. Danger, danger. It's like a fucking warning sign. It's like, hello, like, do not go there. That's not where you want to be. You're going to cause yourself detriment if you stay there. Just like you're going to cause yourself detriment if you keep your motherfucking hand on the hot stove. What's going to happen? You ain't gonna like what's gonna happen. The same thing is if you stay in that vibration of low energy, of shitty thoughts that are now infiltrating into the emotional body. And then pretty soon, Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this, so he goes really in depth with that. Definitely great someone to watch if you want like more info on that particular topic. But when someone is so used to feeling like shit, that sounds so fucked up, but it's the fucking truth. When someone is so used to feeling like shit, that becomes their set point, that becomes their state of being, and their soul is sending signals to their body like, homie, don't do that. That's why you feel like shit. That's not the way you want to go. And because they're so used to it, they're entrapped inside the fucking matrix of wallowing in misery, of self-deprivation, of thoughts that are non-conducive to where they actually want to be. That's why it feels like shit when you are thinking things that are contradictory to what is real. Because the only thing that is real is the divinity which lies within you, within me, within everything. The matrix is like encapsulating the divinity. You could be attuned to your divinity and be operating full functioning in the matrix, and you can be blissful and happy, but that's only after you've elevated and you see from the oversoul what the matrix is. So when someone is in their divine bliss and they are manifesting what they want and they have no type of contradictory anything going on, shit moves like magic. Like instantaneous manifestation, no joke, for real, for real. So whenever someone is feeling lousy, or when a thought tries to come creeping on through that isn't in alignment with what you want, you're gonna feel like shit, because it's your body's way of saying, listen, hot stove, move your hand away. So let's say someone has a thought, they're trying to manifest their dream home, they don't know how they are going to do that, but they want that dream home. So then every other fucking emotion, voice, thought, whatever comes through, you'll never get that, you'll never get that, what makes you think that you can have that, blah blah blah, whatever. It's all bullshit. It's all fucking mind chatter, right? That just infiltrated into the fucking emotion. The soul is seeing from the broader perspective, like your dream house and you are already at one, and it feels fucking good. We can see above the matrix, we can see that's just the matrix that your ego mind is connected to, that's trying to keep you in this little box of familiarity so that the ego thinks that it has control, but really you have control over nothing, and it's fucking wonderful. Because you don't want to control everything. If you want to control everything, that means that you don't trust, basically. Boom, there you go. Okay, thought bomb of a fucking vid. If you want to control something, you don't trust it. This goes for money, a relationship, other people. If that means you don't trust, that's exactly what it means. When you trust, you're not in control. The universe is at one with you, bringing you more of how you are, and you don't care about the control. You don't care about clocks, you don't care about time limits, you don't care about all that. This is another one, right? In the same thing, maybe someone is trying to manifest something, they're not having negative thoughts, but they're on like a timeline, and then that mind chatter is coming in like, oh, but you have this amount of time to get this done, or blah blah blah, and that shit ain't real either. So the oversoul is like, if you think about timelines, you gonna feel like shit. Even if you don't have any contradictory thoughts, thinking about time, thinking of when, or even thinking about how it's gonna happen, if you don't have any contradictory thoughts, if you're in alignment with your vibration with what you want, that's still trying to control something, it's trying to figure out something that is not going to be figured out. Because the universe works in ways that one in a human suit when they are in a human suit, it's not their job to figure it out. The universe is like, I got you back, homie. You just focus on what the fuck you want, on where you want to be, and leave the rest to me. That's what the universe says. So it's really just that internal Geiger counter of the human body. When you feel like shit, when you're thinking shitty thoughts and you want to sit and wallow in it, know that that is your body's way of saying, listen, don't stay there. I know it might feel familiar in this moment, but that's not where you want to be, because you want to be into what for some might be the unknown, unfamiliar area, the alien area of bliss. To be in a state of pure contentment, or even just pure neutrality, right? You're just neutral. Ain't nothing gonna bother you. Ain't no clock, ain't no stove, ain't no motherfucker, ain't no timeline, ain't nothing. You're just like,
I'm chilling, universe. I'm looking this way. That's what I want. I know it's here.
When is it gonna happen?
It'll happen in the best possible moment for me. Thank you very much.
that's all you gotta do. So listen to your body. When you're feeling like shit, don't think that it's real. It can seem like it's very real in the moment, especially if you're having a whole bunch of racing thoughts, or if you've had anxiety over a certain thing, or even if you've felt like you were on some sort of like time constraint. It's not real. None of that exists in the ethers. The only thing that exists in the ethers is love vibration 5D and above. Everything is all at once. There's no need to entertain dalliances of a third dimensional nature. That's what I got for you today. I'm Oculus, the alien next door. We will chit chat again soon.